You know who loves Izotope? This guy. Everyone here at Ruinous Media can't get enough of Izotope's intuitively designed plugins for audio restoration, mixing, and mastering. This year, make a resolution to yourself to say goodbye to bad audio and hello to super clear, wide, dynamic, clean audio using Izotope RX11 and the new Ozone 12. Master every track's potential with their complete 20-tool suite. Go to izotope.com and use code FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. That's FRET10 at checkout for 10% off. And go to izotope.com. That spelling is izotope.com. I'd like to welcome our newest sponsor, Schecter Guitars. This holiday season, go over to schecterguitars.com and see what high-quality goodies they have waiting there for you. Premium feel and unbeatable price. See why guitarists like Isaac Brock from Modest Mouse, Robert Smith from The Cure, and Ernie C. from Body Count all love Schecter Guitars. A wide variety of styles and builds with high-end components and affordable prices for touring guitarists. Built to last. Go treat yourself and try something new you've always wanted to check out. Schecter Guitars has it all. Hey, what's happening? Before we jump into the show, I wanted to see if you had any music on a hard drive. You have a band, you have a project, and you want to self-release your own music. Well, there's an easy way to do it. You can go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate and go get your music up on all the streamers. You keep 100% of your royalties, and you can get 30% off by using this code. It's a great, easy way to get your music up on the streamers and share it with your fans, your friends, your family, your mom, your dog, everybody. Everyone wants to hear it. But go to distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, HYPHENATE, and send me the link. I want to hear it too. Send your mom the link. Send your dog the link. They all want to hear it too.
Being here in Chicago, that really was my schooling of like learning to play in the jazz tradition. And also there's just an amazing experimental tradition here, and indie, all these things were available in the mid 90s. So yeah, it was a great time to be here, and that's kind of what stuck me. Yeah.
What's happening, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into Hyphenate with me, your host, Randy Randall. This is our show for Thursday, January 22nd. My guest on today's show is Mr. Joshua Abrams from the band Natural Information Society. He has a new album coming out called Perseverance Flow. It's a 37-minute long composition. It's one continuous song. What does the press release says? Refracting mesmerizing chains of overlapping rhythmic patterns through a sonic funhouse of dub, resulting in the most formally experimental Natural Information Society album to date. It's a perpetual motion machine, an apocalyptic reckoning, and a creation myth rolled into a singular sound world. I'll go for that. I really liked talking with Joshua. It's cool. Yeah, we talk all things kind of Chicago, jazz, experimental music, world music. Josh and his group have a really unique sort of sense of time and place. And I really dug the records. Everything I had heard, I was like, this is super cool. I want to talk to him. So, I'm stoked to share that information, that, chat with you here in a minute, but you can go to joshuaabramsmusic.com. It's JUSHUAABRAMS music.com. I'll have a link here in the show notes down below as well. You can also go to Natural Information. naturalinformationsociety.com. This is also got all the music there. It's also on Bandcamp. And it's Eremite Records, EREMITE records.bandcamp.com. And you can buy all the records there as well. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope you're hanging in there for this new year. We are off to a hell of a start. What else is happening? You can write me, Randy S. Randall at Yahoo. No, Randy. What was my hyphenate halftime at gmail.com. I'm tired. It's a Tuesday after a long weekend. These 3-day weekends with the kids. I feel like we just had them all winter. Had them for 2.5 weeks of winter. back for 1 week and hit me with a 3-day weekend. I'm worn out. I'm a tired dad, but I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there, having fun, staying warm. Stoked with all these great conversations I have coming up. I've been recording some really good ones. So we got some great batches of interviews coming up here in the new year. And starting off with this one. Joshua Abrams, Natural Information Society, new records out now. Perseverance Flow. Apologies for my fumbling mouth. Perseverance Flow. Go listen to it now. Go buy it and go see him out on tour. If he's playing shows in your area, I think he's got a show coming up February 1st in Chicago. So you can go to joshuaabramsmusic.com for all the updates and new info on records and tours. It all happened there. All right. Have fun. Thank you so much for coming on. Tell me about the new record.
Sure. It's called Perseverance Flow. Came out a few weeks ago, and it's the first record that we've done with the group that just features the touring lineup of the quartet of myself, Lisa Alvarado playing harmonium, Jason Stein on bass clarinet, and Michael Patrick Avery on the drums.
Incredible. So this was a band that was put together mainly for the tour, but you guys all went into the studio together?
No, this has been like the core touring group of Natural Information Society. Often we'll expand the group with, we've had a record where we've had up to 10 people. Sometimes we've had a guest, like Evan Parker was a guest on one of our records. So this one in particular was just the quartet.
Oh, cool. Okay, so more stripped down, meaning this record.
Yeah. And then after we recorded it in just one day, we've been playing the piece for a while, and it's just one long piece throughout the record. And then I went back in the mix and also kind of dubbed most of it out as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like the remix versions that they shared as well. They sounded great. And then with the piece, are you writing for each instrument, or is it or you have the chord charts? So you have charts for everybody, and how closely do they follow those, or where does improvisation sort of work? I mean, it's an evolving piece, you know?
Right? Yeah. Everyone has their parts, and then because it evolves slowly, there's plenty of room for embellishment and little changes throughout the piece. And over time, like on the record, for example, we play it for about 35 minutes or so, but in concert, we might play it for 70 minutes. So things stretch, and then we find new little variants. And then if we hear something vary, there may be a response, but the response might be over time. You let the thing develop, and then you might contribute a thought.
Incredible.
Yeah. So it's more like embellishment, changing registers, changing attacks, little details of how everything is phrased and delivered.
Dynamic.
Versus complete improvisation.
Got it. There's a feel to it. And how long have you played with this core group? Like you said, I mean, is this a long relationship that's been building over time?
Yeah, I mean, Michael and Lisa have been in the band since the beginning, which is about 15 years. And Jason has been playing with us for about 8.
Wow. Okay. So you guys are all really familiar. You know, do you write to their styles? Do you find as a composer, I mean, how you know somebody well after that long of a time, especially that in a tour sort of pressure cooker setting? How do you find that, when you are writing these pieces?
For sure. It is like trying to think about their voice, and then little ways that it could either be challenged or little ways of what they might bring to it. Michael has so many incredibly inventive, just different variants on what he brings to the drum kit. So I know that even if we have a basic idea, then he'll completely make it his own and bring all these beautifully nuanced sounds to it. And Jason, um, he's he's a master of the bass clarinet. For this piece, I wanted to write something just really focused on the high register of the instrument, and slow. And Lisa, um, she her musical experience revolves around the. She's a visual artist as well, so gives the group our like whole iconography and the covers, and there are these. She makes these enormous paintings that when we can we have with us on tour, and then she's just developed as a musician. So I'll always write things that can kind of push her. Um, she just has the patience and is able to kind of anchor the group. Um, you know, just dealing with harmonium over such an extended time.
Tell me about the harmonium a little bit. I'm not really familiar with that instrument.
Yeah, it's also known maybe as like a pump organ or a reed organ, but
Okay.
it has bellows. Um, Sometimes you hear it in like an Indian or Pakistani tradition, but there's some that have like foot pumps, but this one is more hand pumps. So it's kind of rigorous over time. If you can imagine, like just uh, playing for an hour straight or more, making the bellows, sending the air through. Um,
It's definitely an
yeah,
upper body workout. That
yeah,
hand.
or just really the hand and the arm. Yeah, but she has just such nice grace with it. Um, And then we've kind of developed a way to have the harmonium and also the instrument I play, which is called the gimbri. Um, they're acoustic instruments, but then we like to have them very affected as well.
Tell me about I guess before we move off the harmonium, is you mentioned its use in Indian music. Is it used to sort of set the drone, or does it have microtonal sort of variables in it, or is it a
Well, it's
standard Western?
really maybe it's kind of like I think it arrived as a bridge between something like a Shruti box, like a drone, but then it also has a keyboard, but it's not like I don't think it's usually microtonal. There's some like maybe it's more in like quality music. There's some Pakistani folks who are just incredible, like virtuosos on it and fly all over it. But it also works very well um, as more of like a drone or just an acoustic. It's almost like an acoustic synthesizer in a way.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, it's a complicated sound, and depending on how many reeds you have open, it could be different octaves or just different colors coming through acoustically.
Similar to like an organ where you open up the pipes and you can kind of
Absolutely, you can
more
imagine it's just like
yeah.
a very small portable organ in a way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and you probably see them. They show up a lot more than it seems. Like I think a lot in the film world, or just different bands will have them just kind of snuck in there.
I saw Neil Young do a solo set, and he went from from guitar to a piano to then I think he was sitting at like a pump organ where you had the two pedals at his
Oh
feet.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
might be in that family of instruments.
that totally is.
Yeah.
I think they bring that. I just got to hear Neil this summer, um, which was pretty amazing, and I think they brought that instrument, which was not small, but he had a moment where he played that. That was great.
Yeah, the set with he made it feel very like he was just walking around and pick up something and decide what to play. But there was
Mhm.
a lot of stuff on stage. I think he almost
Yeah.
had like a train set, and there was a lot. It kind of made it was like they were recreating his living room on the stage every night. Yeah,
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear him solo as well.
yeah. It was great. Then tell me about the instrument you're playing. I don't know how to pronounce it. I want to
Yeah, sure. It's called a gimbri.
Gimbri. Tell me
Yeah,
about that instrument, how you came to
yeah,
it and
sure.
work with it.
It's the gimbri is a Ganawan instrument, uh, like sub-Saharan, most known from Morocco. Sometimes they're called kharam or sintir. Apologize, my voice is super hoarse.
That's okay.
Um, but a gimbri is kind of more like a general name for it. And it's a 3-string kind of bass lute. You can imagine it's almost like a half a log covered in a goat skin, or maybe they used to be camel skins with something. It's almost like a broomstick. And then the 3 strings, traditionally, they just be tied on there with like leather strips. After a while, I went the route of getting some tuning pegs on there, as I think a lot of people do these days. Yeah, and it's used both in secular music and traditional music there. Some of the traditional music is really like, I guess, trance oriented, and you might hear that instrument with voices and these metal castanets called karkabas.
Okay. And this is like a Muslim sort of, when you say secular versus religious, this is
I think it's like, I think the music, if I'm not wrong, it's kind of like Sufi. And there would be, like there's a ceremony called a Layla, which is like a healing ceremony that goes throughout the night. But then you hear it, you hear it played in a lot of Moroccan bands, and sometimes it will be in all kinds of settings, in like popular music, maybe more like jazz fusion things too. Yeah, it's really an amazing instrument. Some people think it's antecedent to the banjo. But also I kind of think about it like the antecedent to an 808.
That's cool.
Because you have the skin of the drum and you have a bass tone, and you can strike them at the same time. So you can kind of get that like,
wow. That's incredible. So it's a percussive but tonal instrument. And so I guess that kind of answers the question I was going to ask. It's sort of akin, or in the tradition of a bass, or in the register of a bass, sort of the lower frequency. Sort of
a bass, a little bit of high, maybe bass, cello. I'm a double bass player by like, that's what I've been doing for a long time. But I find that bass players, when they hear this instrument, their ears perk up and say, oh, what's this sort of thing? Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Tell me about your sort of, your history with the bass, and how did you first come to the bass, and sort of and then we'll evolve, and how did you kind of come to this particular music?
I mean, honestly, when I was a kid, there was still like music in schools. And so it was like, okay, you had the opportunity to be in the band or the orchestra. And at that time I was tall, and they're like, you play the bass. I was like, okay.
So because you were tall? Because you were tall?
Yeah, then I was tall. Now I'm not. But yeah, so at the time I did, and kind of just did it for a long time. And then maybe towards the end of high school, somewhere in there, I got into jazz. I got into like the music of like Thelonious Monk or John Coltrane. And then I had been playing a little bit of electric bass, but then hearing that kind of classic jazz, I really wanted to learn to play it for real. And then I got disciplined about it. And then I really had the great fortune of, I was in this kind of like, it was outside of school, but it was like a jazz band. But in that band was a lot of great experienced musicians, and that kind of this showed me a lot. And then one of the musicians was actually Amir Thompson, who's also known as Questlove. And then we became friends. And then ultimately the next year, that's kind of what led to the nascent version of the Roots. And we would play on the street and busk. And that sort of experience kind of took me from like the place where you're like, you're just out of high school and you're kind of like, oh, I want to be a musician, to like, I have to be a musician somehow. Just having that experience with Amir and Tariq, and just feeling how amazing playing music could be, and how powerful an experience that could be. Yeah, it just was like, okay, this is what I have to do. Yeah, and
we're hooked into it. They really, ended up.
Yeah, regardless of and then you don't worry about everything else would work out, kind of sort of thing.
Were you part of the group in the recording and touring of the early uh, records of the Roots?
There's a recording called Organics that's sort of like, it's like the prequel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, like, so we weren't our tour was like going to bust on the streets of Philadelphia, and then maybe getting invited to like a party or a poetry reading or something. So it was very nascent.
Got it.
Um, I went I went to school um, in Chicago, or in the Chicago area, and I think they hooked up with the bass player. They hooked up with really like uh, kind of began their touring career, got them to Europe, all these things.
Okay.
But it was very amicable. I had nothing but love for them.
Sure.
Yeah, and then being here in Chicago, that really was my schooling of like learning to play in the jazz tradition, and also there's just an amazing experimental tradition here, and indie. All these things were available in the mid 90s. So yeah, it was a great time to be here, and that's kind of what stuck me. Yeah.
That's great. You're not kicking yourself for not being on the Tonight Show 5 nights a week.
I mean, you can't think that way.
No, I know.
I'm sure I would have been fired long before. Yeah.
Yeah, there was about 20 years of grinding it out on the road between where you were with them and then where they got on the Tonight Show.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, but I had no doubt with them, both of them. I mean, especially Amir and Tariq, both just even back then, just such talented, brilliant people, and like very formative for me. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And then so where, did you go to like a formal like music school in Chicago? Was that part of it?
Yeah, I studied like classical bass in Chicago, basically.
Okay.
But then playing in the jazz community of Chicago, like for a while, I wanted to be like, just play straight ahead jazz a lot. And that kind of, that was a huge education. And that's where I started meeting, I was also into freer, more open music, and I met people like Hami Drake, Nicole Mitchell, Jeff Parker's old friend and huge inspiration. So this whole community of people, and Jeff also kind of pulled me into a bit of the just the indie world too. So then, eventually playing some with Sam Prekop, for example, and then things just would go from one place to other. I was in a group called Town and Country that played a bunch. Yeah, and then I don't know. Fast forward about 15 years ago, it was like I wanted to put together a group that was just bringing a bunch of these interests I had in, with some with improvisation, but some with more minimal type of playing, but still with a kind of rhythmic emphasis. And that ultimately became Natural Information Society.
So cool. And then getting to, non-Western or traditional jazz instrumentations. How were you exposed to those early sort of instruments, or Eastern or
right.
Other instruments?
Like with the Gimbri, like I said, you just hear a recording of it, especially as a double bass player or a bassist, and you're like, wait, what is that? Because it is a bass, but then it also has this percussive thing, and just this other approach. I heard a record by Malam Mahmoud Ghania called Trance of Seven Colors. It has Pharoah Sanders on it too.
Wow.
And was recorded by Bill Laswell. And you hear it and it's like, whoa, what is this? And after a tour one time, I got a chance I kind of had a tour and in Europe, and I had a chance to easily go to Morocco. So I went there kind of to try to just see what this instrument was. And it wasn't really study, but I got to observe it some. And then I started playing it. And then back in Chicago, sometimes Hami Drake, who's an amazing drummer, and also he's been a longtime mentor. He would kind of just encourage me with it, and when he would come through town, he would ask if I'd been playing it, and if we had gigs together, he would encourage me to bring it out. And so the first time I recorded it was on a record of his with Fred Anderson called "From the River to the Ocean," and also with Jeff and another great bass player, Harrison Bankhead. And yeah, so there's this whole community of scenes that kind of foster experimentation. And it's like, okay, this is an instrument. It's a different instrument, but it's kind of like you bring it in and make it your own. More than like I wasn't trying to play the traditional repertoire, because obviously that's not my
Sure.
thing. But Chicago has this sort of, you might go hear members of the AECM start off their concert with like a didgeridoo trio, like Douglas Ewart or and it would be amazing, and you wouldn't think twice about, oh, well, where do these sounds come from? It just would be like, this is mind-blowing psychedelic music. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, that experimental tradition is sort of where I come from, in a kind of rock electric guitar sort of way.
Yeah.
And yeah, just responding to the sound and really making it your own feels like such an exciting, free sort of expression, a way to approach it. I mean, is that in Natural Information Society, is that the main instrument you play, or no? Are you playing other things and doing overdubs and other stuff as well, or have you over the
Yeah, sometimes I'll play bass still, and sometimes I'll add a keyboard or this or that, whatever's needed. But mostly I have played that because it kind of brought together all these things. Like I was making a bunch of sample-based music, and even the first record of this, which that's where the group gets its name from. The first record is Natural Information under my name. But there's an MPC all over it, mixed in with the drums. And then over time, it was like, yeah, this just kind of brings a lot of what I want to do. This kind of music that kind of continues on and gradually shifts, but still makes you move. Music that helps me focus, at least, and lets you kind of pay attention to the little things. At the same time, isn't just academic. Still is really like, could rock a party too if need be.
It's so cool.
That's like the goal, like how you try to bring these things together. And it's like, I think it's experimenting, but it also is like treating the instrument with this, I guess, a sincerity and respect from where it comes from. So it's like trying to bridge both those things. I feel like that's what the ASM would do, or that's, you're talking about the experimental guitar tradition. Like, yeah, that's what it is. These, instruments evolve, they're tools for culture.
Yeah. Yeah. And you say the harmonium in your instrument as well, that you use effects kind of inline. Are these like guitar effects or rack effects, or what sort of effects are you playing with?
Yeah, like pedals, like on the new record, there's a lot of ring modulator, for example.
That's cool.
Like both on the Gimbri and then on the harmonium too, more as a tremolo. Yeah,
that's cool.
Michael Patrick Avery, he builds his own guitar pedals, and so sometimes we'll incorporate those as well. He has one called the Zip Ripper that I think is on the harmonium as well.
And what is that, kind of like a distortion?
Yeah, it's like I think he would call it a fuzz.
Okay.
I'm always like, I'm always bad with the lines between gain, fuzz, and distortion. Yeah, but
yeah. Oh, that's some serious tone chasing rabbit hole going down there.
Sure.
I always call them dirt. For a long time, I had dirt pedals. They added dirt to things, and then there's different kinds of dirt. Well, I know, but it's dirt. You want a dirty guitar versus a clean guitar.
Yeah,
keep in that world. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always loved nerding out on stuff, but it sounds like, I mean, just the source of the sound is so unique, that they're just having that spotlight on that is part of the fun of it too. You can really you're already starting at a different point than just guitar, bass, drums, or synth. You know, that you're already in a different place, and so kind of just augmenting that enough to sort of extend the range or the sounds, or in a way that can continue to evolve, and not, you know, you're not just set with them, just the acoustic version of it.
Yeah, like on the Gimbri, it's really just a one octave instrument, but I'll use an octave pedal sometimes to jump around with the pitch. But yeah, it's cool to see all these possibilities with like acoustic instruments, and how loud can you push them? How, you know, just you know, where can they be taken and still benefit from some of the acoustic properties too.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, it's such a good use of like a strategy with effects of extensions. You know what I mean? That these things can add. Sometimes they add color, but sometimes they can extend. Like you say, you know, within pitch, you know, you can extend the range or the sustain of what something does. You know, just pull it out longer, and you know, so you're still working with the sound, but you're just getting more of one of the qualities of that sound.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, pulling it out further. And then a lot of times here on Hyphenate, we will talk about, you know, what people are doing outside of their creative world too. I mean, are you in an academic sort of world with music in that, or how do you feel your time when you're not in the band and not writing?
Right. Well, I'll play a lot outside of the group. Sometimes playing bass for a bunch of other people, depending on what comes up. I mentioned working with Hamid. You know, recently I did a little tour with a drummer named Tom Skinner. I play once in a while. I play in a group with an artist, Theaster Gates.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I also I'll write music sometimes for like documentaries as well. One of the last ones, it was a little bit ago, but there was a series on Bill Walton that I did the score for.
Oh, that's cool. The basketball coach?
The player, yeah.
Basketball player, right? Okay. Did he coach as well, Bill Walton? Am I thinking of?
I don't know if he you would know him. He announced.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He was the deadhead. He was a big deadhead. Right? Yeah.
Time, like the tallest deadhead. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
And so we had to make a very dead adjacent sound check because there was a lot of dead in the series.
I bet.
So all this stuff that so I recorded a bunch with, I don't know if you know Emmett Kelly.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely.
Jim White. We made a bunch of
how fun.
A bunch of music that kind of sat well with, you know, the Dead and Bill's interests, you know.
There's some great stories of him taking the team to shows. You know, if they had a day off and the Dead is playing, you'd take him out. I haven't seen the documentary, but I know from
it's fun seeing like the Celtics of the time, you know, like Larry Bird or just being interviewed about going to these shows, and like, or Robert Parrish talking about, you know, dancing to the Grateful Dead.
But he was in with the band, so he could get them backstage. He was. They weren't just going; he was there, part of the crew.
He was close with them even from his college days.
Oh, wild!
They literally would see him from stage.
He was so tall.
He was very shy, and so it took him a while to go. You know, they wanted to meet him because he was a basketball star even then.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I
love there was the Grateful Dead sponsored an Eastern European basketball team in the Olympics, and they had have you seen these like basketball tees? I think it was from the late 80s, maybe early 90s. And they used their sort of like design element, you know, of the Grateful Dead for these cool basketball jerseys. I'm spacing on the name of the country right now. But yeah, so let's before we wrap up, let's talk. Where can people hear the record? Where can they see you live?
Sure. We're gonna play. You know, we just were on tour, but we're gonna play our Chicago show tomorrow.
Oh, okay. This might be after this goes up. Yeah.
But we, you know, we'll keep traveling through the next year as well.
Cool. Well, where can people buy the record?
You know, you can buy it the best places at eremite.com, EREMITE.com. That's the label, but also Forced Exposure distributes it. So buy it at your record store, support your record store.
Cool. I'll put a link in the show notes, you know, where people can buy it. And then do you have a social media presence or a place?
On On the gram, we're just the band name, Natural Information Society, and that covers the band and also covers both myself and Lisa Alvarado's a lot of our individual activities because she's busy as an artist too. So we'll show her shows or me working with other people too.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well, Joshua, thank you so much for coming on. And I appreciate you taking the time talking about the new record. Everybody go out and buy it.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Thanks.
Of course. Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Take care. How rad was that? Joshua, thank you so much for coming on. Hyphenate. It was great talking. Everybody, you can go to joshuaabramsmusic.com. You can go to naturalinformationsociety.com. You can also go to Eremite Records .bandcamp.com to buy all the records there and support rad, cool DIY, independent, experimental jazz world artists like Joshua and his group Natural Information Society. I swear my tongue is rebelling against me. I'm having an experimental tongue day. Tongue is not tonguing. All right. That's it for today, for January 22nd. Everybody be well, do good things this weekend, support your brothers and sisters, hug the ones you love, and let me know what's up. If you got any records you think I should hear, music that you're making, art that you're making, you can write me hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com. All right, see you next week.
I think it arrived as a bridge between something like a Shruti box, like a drone, but then it also has a keyboard, but it's not like, I don't think it's usually microtonal. There's some like